The WWE Draft Night 1 is in the books, ladies and gentlemen. 16 draft picks in total between SmackDown and Raw. This is the results and my reaction video. Let's not waste any time. Split into 4 rounds. The first round, the number 1 draft pick to SmackDown, of course, was always going to be Roman Reigns, along with Solo Sikoa and Paul Heyman. Now, what's interesting about this is that the Usos were not included in this, and of course they'll be involved on Monday's part of the WWE draft. Now that they've also lost the rematch against Sami Zayn and KO, is it going to be a situation where Roman doesn't want the Usos to be drafted to SmackDown? And why were they not included in the first place? Is Roman to do with this? Is Paul Heyman a little nugget as well of why the Usos were not included here? But a big moment for Solo as well to be included in the first round draft there. Clearly, big plans for him in the future alongside the Tribal Chief. The number 1 pick for Monday Night Raw was Cody Rhodes. No surprise there either. The American Nightmare has been the face of Monday nights since his return. A little bit disappointed he will not be finishing the story with Roman Reigns. I guess his future will be the World Heavyweight Championship, which of course is now going to be designated to Monday Night Raw. Also, personally, I still would like to see Cody face adversity and not win the big one. I still would like him to beat Roman Reigns. I guess now the earliest time will be at next year's WrestleMania. But we'll have to wait and see how that will play out. But a big call, Cody Rhodes, the number 1 draft pick for Monday Night Raw. The first big mover was Bianca Belair moving to SmackDown, the Raw Women's Champion, closing on becoming the longest Raw Women's Champion. What does this mean for that championship going forward? It's going to be interesting what's going to happen with the situation with Rhea Ripley come Monday night. But of course, Bianca moving over to SmackDown. She's been there before. She's been the top face there before. It's star power added to the SmackDown Women's division, and SmackDown did need a big name like this, so I am in favour of this call. Becky Lynch will remain on Monday Night Raw to close up round 1 of the draft. Of course, she has a feud right now with Trish Stratus. It felt it made sense for me for her to remain on Raw, and this now means most likely Seth freaking Rollins will also remain on Raw when it comes to night 2 of the draft. Moving on to the second round, the Street Profits were the first team mentioned. Interesting, they were so highly drafted by SmackDown, but I guess it goes to show perhaps what their future will be in the tag team division. I am glad that they weren't split like I predicted it would happen, and perhaps as well, I don't know how this draft necessarily works, but if you want people to be on board, Bianca and Montez are married in real life, perhaps that's a package deal. If you bring me to SmackDown, bring the Street Profits with you. They wasted no time in making sure that that was made to happen. So that could be a little small nugget of storyline narrative if they wanted to go down that avenue. Imperium were drafted to Monday Night Raw. Big loss for SmackDown, but certainly for me is the right call. Gunther definitely on road to becoming a main eventer. Also, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time at this rate. I wouldn't be surprised at some point later in the year, once he's broken that record, he'll perhaps lose that championship without being defeated, and he'll move into the World Heavyweight Championship picture. He certainly would be someone that I would like to see as a top superstar on Monday Night Raw. And of course, if Roman's on SmackDown, he could be the top heel eventually on Monday Night Raw. And of course, Imperium, Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser joining him as well. They will be an asset to the tag team division. I'm looking forward to seeing what they bring to Monday nights. Edge drafted to SmackDown. Of course, Edge has got a lot of history with SmackDown in the past. In the second half of the noughties, of course, he was arguably the person that carried SmackDown on a weekly basis. Rumours are that Edge doesn't have too much time left in his career. Perhaps this is a bit of nostalgia, but also it brings him a challenge to Roman Reigns and potentially other challengers that will move over to SmackDown as well. So yeah, this could be a big draft pick in time to come, despite the Hall of Famer being a part-timer. Matt Riddle, surprisingly, was a part of round 2, was drafted to Monday Night Raw. Not surprised he remains on Raw. I guess that's what happens when you're in a big-time storyline with the Bloodline right now. But of course, when that concludes, which I think is right, he'll be separated from the Bloodline. I can imagine he'll be going against Gunther for the IC title in the summer, potentially around Night of Champions or even SummerSlam. Going on to round 3, Bobby Lashley, the Almighty, moving over to SmackDown. It's been a minute, as he said on Twitter, and he tagged Roman Reigns very, very quickly. Of course, that's a fresh challenge for Roman Reigns. We've not seen the Almighty versus the head of the table. I believe 2019 was the last time these two mixed up in the ring, so it's been a while. As I said, Bobby Lashley's become a main eventer in that time since being a former two-time WWE champion. I'm excited by this draft move. It certainly freshens things up, not just for the SmackDown roster, but for Bobby too, and hoping that Bobby will have a big push when it comes to Friday nights. In the opposite direction is Drew McIntyre. As I've explained previously in the past, this is a move that's needed to happen for Drew. He's faced everyone on SmackDown, including Roman Reigns. There's nowhere else for him to go, so Raw is the right destination. The World Heavyweight Championship awaits potentially Drew McIntyre. The main event could be for him on Monday nights once again, and I'm hoping a heel turn as well. Matches against Cody Rhodes and potentially Seth Rollins will be very fresh to see, especially with a heel Drew McIntyre character, so I'm hoping that will go down. And yeah, I think this is a very good move that's been done all around. Moving on then, and we've got the OC drafted to SmackDown. Of course, AJ Styles, Minchin, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows. Not gonna lie, was shocked by this one, purely because AJ Styles is back from injury, has returned, and of course this just brings some exciting factors already. The idea of the OC against the Bloodline, again, we're really freshening challenges up for Roman Reigns, AJ Styles potentially, and the OC, like I say, against the Usos. This could be a lot of fun to see how it will play out. I hope that will be the direction long term, and of course they did dominate the Viking Raiders on SmackDown as well, and they said this is just the start. So yeah, it's just the start. I'm excited. The face that runs the place is back where he was treated the best in WWE. AJ Styles on SmackDown. Gallows and Anderson have been MIA for a very long time, so it's good to see them back on TV. And Mia Yim, part of the OC, for me just makes the most sense. She was sort of lost in the shuffle without them. Last on round 3 was The Miz. I think that if you look at the graphic here, the star of Hit's reality show Miz and Mrs. that is shown on the USA Network, it makes the most sense then for The Miz to remain on Raw. Of course, he hosted this year's WrestleMania and is a 2-time Grand Slam champion. It's not, a sympathy pick by any means, but The Miz will continue to do his craft on Raw. A great talker, Miz TV on Raw. He suits longer segments actually when he can talk and express himself. That's where he does his best work. He can do some good matches as well. Had a great match with Seth Rollins just recently on Raw as well. For me, this seems to be the right move. And then moving on to round 4, and perhaps the most surprising round of all. First and foremost, Damage Control going to SmackDown. Of course, Michael Cole's reaction was hilarious on commentary, Wade Barrett's as well. Bayley will be making Michael Cole's life a misery once again, so that will be fantastic to see. But of course, with Damage Control moving over, they're on the same show as Bianca Belair. I was kind of bored of that rivalry. I'm hoping they don't revisit that, although I still believe that Damage Control will break up in the near future. What is very interesting is the Raw Women's Championship match at Backlash is Bianca Belair versus Io Sky, now to SmackDown Superstars. Are we going to get a championship switched over like we've seen in the past? Personally, for me, I'm not a fan when they do that, but if that's what they will do in the future, we'll have to wait and see. Of course, Bianca Belair did explain about being the SmackDown Women's Champion, of course, in a video exclusive that was aired on SmackDown. Of course, she's on the European tour right now with the WWE and mainly the Raw brand. One of the moves that I'm most excited about in this draft is Shinsuke Nakamura to Monday Night Raw. Shinsuke Nakamura has never been a part of the Raw roster exclusively. He's done on-off appearances on the quarterly invitationals and stuff back in the pandemic, but Nakamura's always been on SmackDown since being called up. He's come back, he seems refreshed, he seems ready to go, and for me personally, a move to Raw could be a dark horse for one of the top draft picks, because Nakamura has a potential to go back and mix up with the likes of Gunther, of course, for the IC title. Could he be a future Intercontinental Champion, or they could do one better? Could he be going for a top championship in the near future, the World Heavyweight Championship? After all, Shinsuke Nakamura has gone for a world title at a WrestleMania, of course WrestleMania 34, and is a former Royal Rumble winner. And last but not least, just to mention about this as well, I really hope Boogs remains on Raw. Boogs on the lights hasn't worked for me. You could always have Boogs as the hype man for Nakamura once again. And now the big surprises towards the end here. SmackDown's last draft pick, Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn, the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions being called up. Shawn Michaels, of course, making the call, of course, when this draft pick was made. Of course, they'll be defending those titles in NXT next week, so I expect them to drop them to Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. I guess they will not be called up to the main roster, but it's great. Women's tag teams. I mean, we see there Io Sky and Dakota Kai, Damage Control. We'll get Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn. Are they actually now going to fix what is the women's tag team division? Let's not forget that Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler are still actively part of SmackDown as well. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez are still part of SmackDown right now, your women's tag team champions, and we've got Sonya Deville and Chelsea Green maybe, just maybe, an established tag team division. And to finish things off, the current NXT Women's Champion, Indy Hartwell, is moving over to Monday Night Raw. This is a big move, one I'm really surprised about. Of course, she's only just won the NXT Women's Championship. She did seem to have a brace around her ankle. Of course, she did get injured at spring breaking. Hopefully, it's not too serious. I could see her potentially relinquishing the NXT Women's Championship to move over to Raw. And we spoke about the Women's Tag Team division. Is Candice LeRae going to be staying on Raw? And will we see them two, Johnny Gargano, Dexter Lumis? Could we see a reunited The Way going forward on Monday nights? I wouldn't be surprised to see it, and yeah, I'd be excited to see it. And of course, Indy Hartwell, for me, she seemed like a big deal being called over to Monday Night Raw. She's had a big month to 6 weeks in WWE and NXT, so really happy for her to get this draft move. So that's all in all on the draft moves then for night one. As we just quickly go through all the names once again. They're the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Paul Heyman, Bianca Belair, the current Raw Women's Champion, the Street Profits, Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, Edge, we've got the OC, AJ Styles, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, Michin. We've got Damage Control, Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. We've also got Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn making up the SmackDown roster. And on the Raw roster, we have Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare, Becky Lynch, the Man, Imperium, of course, that's Gunther, Ludwig Kaiser, and Giovanni Vinci. Of course, Gunther, the reigning Intercontinental Champion. We've got Matt Riddle, we've got Drew McIntyre, The Miz, Shinsuke Nakamura, and your current NXT Women's Champion, Indy Hartwell. And of course, all rosters are effective May 8th, which of course is the following WWE Backlash, which will be taking place on May the 6th. Judging from what I've seen with the two rosters so far, I would say that I think SmackDown is edging at the moment, winning the draft at this time. But of course, we have got more draft picks happening on the SmackDown Lowdown, so I'll be back later today to give my reaction on those picks as well. And of course, I will be back as well for night 2 of the draft results and reaction, alongside a Q&A, of course, getting your input and your take on the WWE Draft 2023 overall. And of course, not to forget also, Backlash is next week, so the predictions will be on this channel as well. So great time to subscribe to SCW. Keep up to date with everything going on. If you want to still get my predictions of what I've seen with other superstars and what they would do, those videos are available for you now. And get involved in the comment section. What do you think of the WWE draft so far? Overall, I really do think that we've freshened things up already. A lot of superstars have moved shows. I like the idea that we could have stable warfare on SmackDown. A lot of teams on SmackDown they've been focusing on at this point. Raw, a lot more single stars right now, but Imperium, of course, the one group going over, that should hopefully help them dominate moving forward. And like I say, just the idea, Cody versus Drew McIntyre is an exciting one for me. Cody versus Gunther is an exciting one as well. What will happen with Shinsuke Nakamura moving forward? Will he be a top guy or a mid-card guy? And like I say, with SmackDown, just to say very, very quickly, like I say, Bloodline versus OC, definitely want to see that. The women's division looks like it's got strength in numbers already. I would expect on night 2, a lot of women to go to Monday Night Raw. And of course, just very interesting as well, what will happen with Rhea Ripley, your current SmackDown Women's Champion? Will she be going to Raw or will she be going to SmackDown? And interesting enough, I think she's separated from Judgment Day in the picks as well. I wonder, will Rhea go to one show and Judgment Day go to the other? It'll be interesting if that does play out. But that's all from me anyway. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Like I say, like, share, and subscribe. Get into the comments right now as well. It's speculation station from here on. How is the rest of the draft going to play out? Let me know how you want to see it play out. What matches you're excited to see right now going forward in WWE. Have yourselves a great day. Thank you for watching. And you'll be watching SCW here on YouTube. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you later on.